Good morning and welcome to another episode of the Property Business Podcast. We have Mr. Scott West on this morning's episode because we're going to be talking about you capping, not just capping, but capping in your first year, which is an incredible achievement that we'll come on to. But first of all, as ever, Mr. Jonathan Woods, where in the world are you today and how is business going?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, actually, funny enough, capped myself on Friday. So, that's my third cap in a row. So we can talk about that twice. But no, I'm in Wimbledon, just in my Wimbledon office, which is doubles up as a golfing centre. So do a bit of that at lunchtime, but mainly, yeah, business is great. Very, very good indeed.
Amazing. And I'm sat in the car park outside of David Lloyd. It's Monday morning. I've been for a swim, a spa. I was online at 9 o'clock, working very hard, and I'm now in the car doing this podcast. So, Mr. Scott West. So, Scott, over to you. How are you this morning?
Very well, thanks, gentlemen. I'm not in such fancy places as you guys. I'm sat in the walk-in wardrobe at the moment. So, the wife's kicked me out of the office. So it's not quite
Nice.
the highs of David Lloyd and the golf club that you got there. But yeah, we're all good over here. Got a bit of a cold, so you'll have to bear with me. Just got back from Finland, which was lovely. So,
Oh, lovely.
husky sledging and seeing the Northern Lights, which was wonderful. So,
Wow. Did you actually get to see them? Did you see the Northern Lights?
We did. Yeah, we had one evening which was nice and clear. So we saw them. We get the alarm that goes off in the room to tell you that the Northern Lights have started. So we all ran outside. But it was a really cool place actually. Kakaslaten was the name of the resort, and it's all got the glass igloos, and you could lie
Amazing.
down, look at the sky, and seeing the Northern Lights. So yeah, can't complain. Hey?
What a wonderful way to celebrate capping in your first year in eXp, mate. So well done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's nice. So here's to my second year. Very excited about it.
Yeah.
So
I think go ahead, James.
Well, yeah, so let's come on to that, Scott. So not only have you capped, which is an amazing achievement in itself, but you've capped literally in your first year. So your first anniversary year at eXp. I think only Daniel Archer, another agent in our network, has hit that amazing accolade. But you have just finished your first year and you've capped. As a reminder to what capping means, so at eXp you pay a monthly subscription of 125 plus VAT. Each month you get the full business in a box, and then it's 70-30. So the agent gets 70%, eXp take 30% up to £80,000 in sales fees. So the agent then gets 70%, i.e. 56k. eXp, they take 30%, 24k. Then after that, the agent then gets 100%. But to do that in your first year is an amazing achievement, Scott. So very, very well done. How have you done it? Talk us through your business. Talk us through how you've smashed out the first year.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously was a bit of a daunting prospect coming in. Obviously, I'd sat down with you guys, was it December 2023, I think it was, about sort of making the jump into the self-employed life. And I previously worked with Purple Bricks for 3 years, so had a little bit of experience with it, but it was a very daunting concept coming into it. But guys, I'll be honest, it's just been a lot of grafting, from day one. I mean, for those of you that don't know, I set my business up with eXp in a town that I moved to in 2020. I'd never actually worked in Billericay-based. So again, that was not only going self-employed, but working somewhere that I'd never worked before. To be the sort of personal agent was a little bit of a scary concept, but it's been purely being consistent. From day one, I've been sending out letters to many people that were on the market with other estate agents. That was, for me, it had to be done on a weekly basis. We're talking 150 letters a week to do that. And getting myself out there, joining several networking groups, meeting up with lots of local businesses. You've really got to sort of pitch yourself, which is something that I've done quite a lot of. And I think thirdly, I've managed to really establish myself on a particular development in Leindon down the road from me, but it's a sort of 2010, 2015 completion. And again, the Bellway Homes development, I've just managed to get a lot of sold boards up there. And I think one of the key things with the success is having your face on a board and having lots of these boards up there with sold on it. People will naturally come to you because they think, well, this guy, he's obviously taking this off this agent here and managed to sell it. He's obviously doing something right. So, it's been great. It's been, all consuming. I've had to do a lot of work for it, but it feels like it's paid off. And I'm looking forward to my second year in the business now.
Nice.
I was going to say,
second.
Scott, I was going to say, I think certainly with the more prevalent that sort of, it's one self-employed agency, but generally that we talk about it a lot. We do the podcasts, we do the videos, we do a lot of, social media, and it looks, certainly I think probably outside in, that possibly it's quite easy to do. And actually in reality, it takes a lot of hard graft and a lot of work to get to where you are. And, I think we had a chat just after you, or just as you were coming up to cap, and you was like, I'm exhausted. I've been, you're wearing all the hats. You're running around doing all the viewings. You meet every single buyer and seller. But you're also doing all your own admin. You're doing your own marketing. You're doing it all yourself. And I think, it's really commendable, because it just, nothing is done without hard work. But it's when you put the hard work in, you lay the groundwork to now move into year 2, where the real magic happens now. And I think, that you're kind of, I remember you were saying is you don't feel particularly wealthy yet. You don't feel like you've kind of, made it financially, even though you've got this accolade of capping. And that's because year 2's not happened. So, you're going into that year 2 now with a solid pipeline, plus an established business, and something that your experiences of the last year to now building in leverage, building in time within your business to be able to further it and make it bigger, but also now to start to reap in the rewards of it. And that capping, obviously you reset, which we'll talk about in a second, and that's going to run, but you're going to hit that cap now probably in 3-4 months. And yeah, I mean, obviously all being well, there's nothing's guaranteed in this industry, but you'd like to think that a large portion of that pipeline would go through in the next 3 months or so. And it's, as long as you keep your momentum and you keep doing the things that you're doing, and also you build in other bits of leverage. And that's why, having people that have a year, 2, 3 years down the line that can help you with that. I mean, James, you're prime example, myself as well. I mean, my year 2 was like probably 6x year 1. It's absolutely phenomenal. And that back end is so super loaded, because the moment, I mean, I've just hit my cap, as I said, my cap resets in September. I've got a 6-figure pipeline, and I've got all of that to run until September, and I've got a load of stuff on the market. So you see that the difference it makes on the other side of that cap is absolutely amazing. And you should be super excited about it, because you've made 1 year in business. And they always say that businesses, if you're profitable in your 3rd year, you've done well. We can be significantly profitable and also still be offering that quality service to clients, and doing everything that we say that we do very, very well, but also getting remunerated very well for it as well, because of eXp's cap. And I think that's just the key point in it all. But well done.
Yeah, thank you so much. And actually, Jonathan, after our conversation, I have brought in a virtual assistant now as well. So I've got a VA, I've got a sales progressor. I mean, the sales progressor I brought in probably about 3 months in, because I thought, actually, you know what, I can't manage to service that myself while I'm out there doing the valuations and the viewing. So you need to make sure you bring leverage in from every angle. And this virtual has been fantastic. She's been with me now for 2-3 weeks, and it's paying dividends already. It definitely is. So.
Yeah, we had Jack on the other day. It's about being strict on income generating activities. If it's below your pay grade, be strict on yourself about not doing that, i.e. the vendor's ID, the vendor's AML, policy descriptions. Yes, we can all do those, but they don't bring us income. So now that you've got that virtual assistant on board, pass all of that work on to them. So let's talk about how you're going to push on in your 2nd year. So first year, you've smashed out the park, but you've pretty much done everything. How are you going to grow now in your 2nd year? Talking about leverage and what you've got in place now to really kind of push on in your 2nd year.
Yeah, I mean, again, having the leverage there is absolutely key. And I think, with the pipeline now, the year reset on the 1st of February. So I've already done a completion, £5,000 fee on that one there, but I've got 90k in the pipe. So,
Wow.
I'm hoping that, that should happen very soon. There have been a lot of transactions that were agreed sort of November, December time, with a 1st of April completion, with the stamp duty changes coming in. So I'm looking here, probably 14 of those should go through in the next 2 months, which would be great.
Wow,
so
amazing.
June time onwards, and again, I've got 20 sales under offer. I've got 14 available at the moment as well. So we can sell all of those, and they all look, relatively straightforward transactions that would potentially come through from there. While I'm obviously still keeping myself busy with valuations too. So I'm hoping, the year going well, I should be on 150k, by next year. Realistically, that would be what.
Do you know how many you sold in your 1st year, roughly?
It's a good question, actually. I'll have to double check that.
You can run a report off Luke quite quickly. I can show you how to do that.
It's funny because Yeah, because in my first year, when I started in February, I got going in July. I had the Liz Trust thing. So in my first year, I only sold 2 homes. It's a pretty hard year. But then in my second year, my first full year, I sold 29 homes.
Wow.
And I capped in month 6. So I had 6 months being paid 100%. This year, my third year just gone because of the network. I've got more leverage around London. I've sold 52 homes this year.
Yeah.
So the numbers just get better year on year. And you're so much more established now. The word of mouth, the referrals. I got a call whilst I was waiting for John to come on this morning from some guy I posted in the kind of Croydon Facebook group this morning. Some guys call me. So you just get more referrals as you're building your business as well. So if you do maintain the process, if you keep working hard at the basics, never take your foot off the gas, you'll get a lot more kind of leads coming in your way as well.
That was
Do you
20.
think,
I did 20. I've just had a look now. I've just done the
bloody
report there.
hell, that's amazing. Yeah,
So, but yeah, I mean,
yeah.
again, I think the thing is obviously, increasing fees as well. That would obviously help out a lot more. So it'd be less
Yeah.
sort of work, I suppose, with higher fees. That's another way to look at it. But then again, obviously 20 sales there. I've got 20 in my pipeline at the moment, which are under offer. So that's kind of what I
Yeah.
did in the year. So, that's a good sign. And 14 further ones which are available.
Amazing.
But almost,
So it could be at least doubling. So maybe kind of 40 in this year, if not more.
exactly that's the plan, isn't it? So we'll
Going
see.
going back to your experience, Scott. Obviously, you're a corporate agent, Foxtons, KFH. Do you think working at Purple Bricks gave you? Do you think you started eXp better because you were aware of working as a self-employed agent?
Possibly. I mean, I think the EXP lifestyle is very different to the corporate environment where you are just sort of almost targeted to list. With Purple Bricks, you had the freedom of working from home. But then again, with Purple Bricks, they did go from self-employed to an employed model. I think there were lots of potential problems there, as obviously they've been publicised in the press quite a lot. But I think being available to sort of work from home, I would never go back to a high street agency office now. Having gone into this with EXP, I think you're often there just to sort of be a present person in an office. But we all know you can do your job wherever you want to be in the world. I mean, I've just been to Finland. I've been dealing with emails over there. James, you're talking about going to Brazil later on this year, and Jonathan, you've been away on a few trips. I think you're off to Miami, aren't you, for the conference, and Barcelona, etc. too. So
I'm going to Barbados on next weekend.
there you go. So
I thought you might name drop that one.
exactly that.
Looking forward to a bit of sun.
Bit of sunshine, yeah, I could do a bit of that too. But so no, I think look, Purple Bricks did. It was almost like that sort of stopgap in between the two, the corporate lifestyle to sort of the self-employed lifestyle. I think, it potentially did help with that side of things. But then you are also micromanaged from that point. With EXP, you are your own boss. You could sell, 2 houses a year if you wanted to, or 200 homes a year. Completely. You can make the business what you want to make it, which I think is key.
And I know we knew of each other, but we didn't really know each other. Why EXP, and then why did you choose our network as opposed to choosing someone else at EXP to partner with?
I think a couple of things really. I mean, I think the network you guys have built is absolutely phenomenal. I think when you look in the WhatsApp group we've probably got 65 agents in there or so. I mean, and there are so many ideas you can bounce off people. And interestingly, it seems to be week on week there are ex-colleagues of mine that seem to be joining the WhatsApp group, joining our network, which is great to see and testament to what you guys are building. But I think on the other side of things, I've always been a sales agent. I've never dealt with lettings. And I think when you go into self-employed life and with EXP, you need to have, many different feathers in your cap. You need to have the sales experience. You need to look at revenue share. I've also got the share options as well. But lettings, I thought, was another way to build some passive income. And the fact you guys have both got a lettings background, it was something that I'd be able to lean on a little bit more and ask for help and advice from. And certainly, James, I've spoke to you. I've sent you many voice notes over the last few months asking for some advice and how to put out the odd fire or two. But it's definitely been worth signing up with you guys on that side. But also the support you guys offer has been superb. I really do appreciate it, and there's no regrets there whatsoever.
And obviously you've been relatively quite amazing on Instagram. I mean, I remember when I gave you some advice on what to do. Then your first video, you smashed it out of the park, and I'm now getting tips from watching your social media content and your videos. But you've been quite quiet on LinkedIn, but you've now had people who know you kind of reaching out to you. Obviously, Josh Olive, he's joined underneath you. He's introduced Michael Sikora, who's based over your way. So Michael's based even further up towards Essex, isn't he?
He's sort of further in. He's more sort of Essex, Suffolk border. Yeah. But I met up with Michael a couple of weeks ago. Lovely guy. Again, ex-Foxtons. He's got lots of corporate experience as well. And yeah, it's you're right. In terms of sort of posting on social media, I do my bits on Facebook, on Instagram. I know we had a conversation about doing more on LinkedIn, and it's certainly been. So I've started to do a lot more since I saw you at the beginning of February, end of January time. So I think, look, it's worth getting every single platform. You don't know who's watching you, and you do get people that do sort of slide into your DM and say, "Oh, I've seen this. What you've been doing here. It's fantastic." And the amount of people that actually do reach out to you on LinkedIn, it's quite surprising where they're actually watching your journey from all the different platforms. So yeah, it's something I think when you talk about what needs to be sort of worked on for year two, I think obviously the leverage side of things is key, but also doing doing LinkedIn would be another thing.
Yeah.
Just to put into there in terms of we talked a lot about leverage and about having supports in place, and the sort of I think misconception or the misunderstanding that people have often with eXp is that you're always on your own and you're just working out in your bedroom, and of course you're slightly geographically removed from the main London hub. But do you feel that you've still got that support around you from the network through the sort of WhatsApp group, etc., that we have? But also we started putting on some more socials, which hopefully you'll be able to get down to. I think the other thing, people always look at what myself and James have sort of started. I started at eXp in 2021, and there was only a few of us across the whole of the capital. Now we're building out not only within London, but also out into Essex and Somerset, various other parts of the UK, and hopefully soon to be internationally. But the opportunity that you have to start to leverage your years and years and years in the industry, not only from a business point of view, meaning more sales, but also utilizing and monetizing those connections that you have to offer other people an opportunity to follow you and to do what you've done, but also to build up a little organization of your own.
Yeah.
That is I mean, James and I met many years ago, but he came into eXp about 4 or 5 months into my journey, and it was really pivotal to me being able to, one, have some cover for viewings when I wasn't around, but also to have someone to bounce ideas off, to then to think, right, James and I speak about James as being my business partner, but you're all business partners, everyone is. And we then have this opportunity now to not only build a great lettings and sales business, but also to create your own brokerage, your own team, your own thing below you, and at a scale and a speed and extremely cost effectively, because we don't employ anyone. Everyone's employed themselves.
Yeah.
But there's a conduit to revenue share, which is basically through the eXp framework, that enables you not only to build your team. James just mentioned he did 57 deals last year or this year alone. He hasn't done them all by himself. No. He's done that by leveraging the network. And I think sometimes people are looking at it and sort of think, well, it's just me. Well, actually, if you go out there and actually work on that side of the business, you could replicate yourself 10 times over, Scott.
Yeah.
And start to build those people around you and that little network. So you wake up in the morning, get on a WhatsApp group with your own little team and start talking to them, and then it grows from there. And that's what I love about it. It's the ability to not only just create a lettings and sales business, but to create a 60, 70, 100 team brokerage across the country and the world. And we're only just getting, we keep saying we're only just getting started, and we really are. It's really exciting.
Prime example of that. When I was here this morning, another agent is giving me an intro to a flat in London Dock at 1.25 million. I'm going to take Hafsa, who's smashing East London, and also Eager. Eager's one of our new agents who's just joined, based in the same area. I'm going to take those two ladies there on Thursday to go meet the other agent. We're going to collaborate on that, when I'll just go down there for the valuation. We'll do a cool social media video, and then Hafsa and Iga, who are basically something, they will do the viewings for me. So that's why my productivity has actually increased through building this revenue share group, Scott. So where you are now trying to get more leverage in place, I have a lot of agents in my organization who are doing a lot of my viewings for me. So don't feel that you're giving business away. If anything, my productivity has really increased through building this revenue share group. And obviously I'm now receiving money from the revenue share part to the business as well. So yeah, very exciting, exciting times ahead.
Yeah.
And also I can't wait to go and see a 1.25 million flat in London duck on Thursday.
Sounds amazing. Yeah, no, it really does. And you're right. I mean, look, I think also out this way. I mean, eXp seems to be such a big thing in London as well, but in Essex, it's not really been touched upon that much. There's a few agents out this way, but I think a lot of them are like, oh, what's all this all about? You know, what's eXp? And you know, I think it's worth me having more conversations with local agents to say, look, why don't you see what it's all about and get us all in on a call and discuss it in a bit more detail. But
and you are. There's no one better to follow than you. For you to come in, an experienced corporate agent, an experienced and self-employed, to smash eXp out the park by following the process that our group, we know what the process is. You follow the process. You kind of made your own process. You can pass that process on to any agent in your area. Follow what I've done if you want to. It's entirely your business. If you want to do this, it works. But if you don't, entirely your business. And then you can then get even more leverage in place for you as well. And then, as what I do a lot of collaborations with new agents. There you go. Let's split this 50-50 or 25-75 to get them going as well. So there's no one better placed.
If you put like what do you reckon the average valuer or manager makes in branch in Essex right now where you are?
I don't know, probably 50k,
something like that, right? And they'll be working probably 40 to 60 hours a week doing that. 20 days annual leave, maybe 25 if they're lucky. A lot of work going into basically building someone else's dream and their business, and not really a huge amount of dealing with lots of other people's issues and problems. If you're a manager, the times when you come in and deal with people if they don't turn up on time or whatever, all of that sort of malarkey, going for meetings sakes and KPIs and all of that stuff. Now, you've kind of just shown that you've got potentially, you haven't realised it yet, but 150 grand plus business in your area. So if people are out there and thinking, I want to do that, I want to spend more time with my kids, I want to go travelling more, I want to have more autonomy. Well, Scott's your man. Give him a call, and he'll show you how to do it. And it's not easy, but if you do what you're everyone else and follow the pathway that everyone else has done the same thing, as I say, success leaves clues. Follow them, and that's what all of us have done. There are people that are far more successful than I am, and I'm a student of this business. I was a great corporate agent, but I knew nothing about running a business myself. I had to learn it. Same with revenue share, about building up anything. You've got to immerse yourself in it wholeheartedly, which is what you have done, Scott, and that's why you got to where you are. So I just think that's something which people really should really value, that you've gone out there and actually realized it, so you'll know how to do it, and you can accelerate people's growth so much quicker than if they just do it by themselves.
Well, this is it. I've got the connections there. I do that. The leads and all the clients I've got, I can actually send across to them, which is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I know, Scott, and sometimes when we've been inviting you to maybe joint valuations, you're doing the school runs. Talk to us a bit about your typical day. I know that your wife works in town, central London, very senior corporate job. Talk to us a bit about your typical day, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. So I mean, I am very hands-on with the kids, which is great. I get to again, my wife is often in London. She works at Liverpool Street, so she's in for sort of long days. Partner of a law firm, so she's often sort of dragged in quite regularly until sort of late in the evening. So I will often get up. We've got a nanny that looks after our children 9 to 5. My eldest is actually at preschool, so I'll do the school run with both of them. Drop Millie off, and then Imogen will come back with me. We'll play around a little bit until 9 o'clock. Nanny then turns up, and then between 9 and 5, I'm getting everything done that I possibly can with work. 5 o'clock, I then can do dinner, bath time, bedtimes. Harriet often is back to sort of help out a little bit with that side of things, but it's brilliant. Again, if I was on a high street agency, I wouldn't be able to do any of that. I'd be completely sort of stuck in the office. I'd be missing out on them growing up, which is a real tragedy, really. But...
And as a family, that's what you chose to do. Where your wife, very senior role, corporate lawyer, you wanted to be there for the kids. That's why the self-employed role was so important for you. So
exactly.
I mean, I've got a 5-month-old baby now, where I had so much time into my baby son of I, but you are obviously restricted on those child times as well. So you've still built an amazing business, and you don't have as much time as some, but then you're choosing to be obviously with your family and your children, which is even more amazing as well.
I mean, I work the odd, I work Saturdays. I do quite full days
Yeah.
on Saturdays, but we'll also fit it around the kids and what they're doing. Millie goes horse riding on a Sunday morning, so I might come out on a Sunday afternoon. Harriet will take her there. It works generally very well, and there's, I know that I'm there sort of doing the main sort of childcare parts during the day, but also in the evenings, when the kids are down, that's when I'm sending my emails or following up from, viewing feedback, etc. But having that leverage from someone to do my admin side of things actually means my evenings are often freed up anyway. And if
Nice.
Harry just come back from work, again, she's not always in there, sort of 8 till 8 or whatever it might be till 10 o'clock in the evening. It does mean I can go out and do evening appointments as well. So I think we've had a good balance. Occasionally there's the odd sort of clash where it might not work out necessarily that well. For example, our nanny was sick the other week. Harriet had a big presentation in work, so I had to take Imogen out on a viewing with me, which was an interesting concept. But
I've done that a few
So
times.
what was the feedback?
Yeah.
What was the buyer's
Oh,
feedback?
they loved
I think
it, to be
people.
fair. Yeah, it was absolutely fine. In fact, they got kids, they understand it. It was a £1.1 million house down in Downham. So yeah, I mean, the vendor was fine about it. I thought I'd better just check. Say, look, we've had a bit of a childcare issue here. She kept wanting to run up and down the stairs, but apart from that, it was all fine.
I've done it quite a few times, and it's always gone down particularly well. I mean, look, sometimes it's a bit of a pain in the bottom, but actually,
We're all human, Jonathan, though,
and
aren't we?
yeah, we are exactly, and it does show your human side. And also, my sons have closed probably about 40 grand's worth of business. So if I could pay them, if I could have paid them legally, then I would have been able to pay them a commission. But you're not allowed to, unfortunately, under child labour laws. But
an offer from ours,
but they certainly got themselves an ice cream and a couple of nice little comics afterwards. So
it's definitely worth it, isn't it? No, I'll have to print her P45 off because she didn't get me any offers, so not best pleased.
I think for me it was that's one of the biggest drivers that I work around is family time and be able to have the autonomy to choose when and where you decide to work. And and that flexibility, it is daunting, Scott. And I think taking that plunge to back yourself to build a business when you've got a mortgage and kids and everything else. It's never easy for anyone at any point. But I do think when you've got that extra dependence upon you, but on the flip side, there's nothing more of a driver in motivation to get yourself out of bed in the morning and get out there and start selling homes and renting homes and building your business, because you've got a great why there. Everyone should have their why and should be part of what their goals are in life. And I think that for me was a real driver. It was scary at times, especially when you have a big fall through and you think, oh my God, that's money that you've earmarked for it, but you've got to pick yourself up and get on with it. But yeah, so the next 6 months for you, Scott, is going to be I think pivotal, but also we'll be talking another 6 months' time, and you'll be on the next side and the next phase of growth. And there were a few of us that have got to that phase now. We mentioned Daniel Archer at the start. He's got 5 children. He was working every hour God sent at a small agency in Wimbledon, getting paid about 65 grand a year, and now he makes circa 400,000 a year. So it's incredible, these stories of where people have got to. You're now going to be moving up towards that, hopefully getting out to the international conferences, becoming a leader within this organisation and industry, which is where people like you will be, if you want to, of course. And that's the key point. If you want to, if you don't want to, that's cool. There are people out there that just want to focus themselves, and that's it. And that's the beauty of it. eXp just gives you the platform and the way that you want to run with it. I just wanted to put that in. I think it's for me, the family side has just been amazing. It really has.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Yeah, I think that's it. Family is absolutely key for me, and sort of being able to be available, be present. And I think the amount, even with Purple Bricks, you did feel sometimes you were getting chased up on your KPIs and responding to phone calls and having meetings for meeting sakes, and you sort of actually, what is it worth it? But with this, you've got that complete autonomy to do as you like. So. Yeah, and guys, thanks again for all your support. It's been brilliant. From start to finish, I've loved every moment of this. It's been absolutely superb.
Well, I can't wait to see that. In 6 months' time, we'll get you back on, see how things are going. see what successes you've managed to achieve, but also we'd love to see where you can take this. And if people want to get hold of you, Scott, what's the best way of reaching you?
Well, you can email me scott.west@exp.uk.com or send us a WhatsApp or phone call 07377 342 565, or follow us on Instagram, scottwest.property. That's the other way to do it. I should follow me on LinkedIn, obviously, as well.
We'll see you on there soon as well. It's our platform of choice certainly for a brokerage build. But Scott, absolutely amazing. I'd love to. I need to pop out to Essex sometime and come and see you out there. We've got our social coming up at the end of February. I don't know if you're coming along, Scott, but there's going to be quite a few of us there. If you can make it, if you can't, please send some people down. And it's on Thursday the 26th, isn't it, James? Is that right?
Yeah, down in Balham. Is it Wednesday or Thursday, 26th of February? Pure social event, and then the following month we've got an awesome venue to be announced soon. That's going to be a bit closer towards you, a bit more kind of central London. Yeah, an awesome venue for like a building event, social/building, sharing ideas about making our businesses better, and also inviting other agents down there to help build their businesses too. So very exciting events coming up.
Fantastic. I enjoyed Wing Wednesdays. That was great fun. So I went there. That was in November. That was superb. So
February's the same one as that. So it's a similar thing on Friday. Next Wednesday. Not next Wednesday. Wednesday after.
Right. Okay.
After half term.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Well, thanks for coming on, Scott.
Great to have you on board.
It's been a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Have a great week.
You too. Bye bye.